नाम है एटॉमिक हैबिट्स।
ओके, एटॉमिक हैबिट्स, ओके।
हाँ, तो ये एक ऐसी किताब है जो कि मतलब मेरे ख्याल में सब किसी भी एज में किसी और पर जो हमारे यंगर फ्रेंड्स हैं इस ग्रुप में उनको तो डेफिनेटली बहुत उससे हेल्प हो सकता है। अच्छी आदतें कैसे डाली जा सकती है, आप किस तरह से एक प्रोसेस को शुरू कर सकते हैं। मैंने उस लेखक का ये कहना है कि अगर आपका कोई गोल है और उस गोल को अचीव करना चाहते हैं तो उस गोल को अचीव करने के लिए सबसे जो मतलब बड़ी चीज आप कर सकते हैं कि वो कोई ऐसा प्रोसेस आप शुरू कर दीजिए जिससे कि आप उस गोल की तरफ धीरे धीरे एक सिस्टमैटिक रूप में आप बढ़ते जा सकते हैं। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आप लेट्स से कि आप एक क्लास करना चाहते हैं ऑन फाइनेंस। जस्ट एक एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे मैं आपको कह रहा हूँ, लेट्स से कि यू वांट टू डू अ क्लास ऑन फाइनेंस। हाँ, हेलो तानिया। हाँ, तो उस क्लास के लिए आपको नेचुरली कहीं सैक्रिफाइस करना है। कोई और चीज आप कर सकते थे संडे इवनिंग, वो छोड़ के आप इसको करते हैं। तो उसमें उसका कहना है कि पहला कदम जो इसका है ना, वो अगर आप उठा लेते हैं तो बाकी चीज अपने आप हो जाएगी। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, क्लास के लिए शायद पहला स्टेप यही होता होगा कि आप जो है मतलब जिस टेबल पर बैठते हैं, जहां पर आप इस क्लास को अटेंड करते हैं, उस जगह पर बैठ जाइए और बैठ के आप अपना लैपटॉप ऑन कर लीजिए।
ओके,
मे बी दैट इज द फर्स्ट स्टेप। सी, दिस विल नॉट अप्लाई टू यू थ्री, आप लोग तो ऐसे काफी रेगुलरली आ रहे हैं। लेकिन लेट अस सपोज कि देयर इज समवन हु इज फाइंडिंग इट डिफिकल्ट टू फाइंड द मोटिवेशन टू डू दिस क्लास। तो मे बी द फर्स्ट स्टेप इज, जो इजी स्टेप आपके हाथ में है, कि आप लैपटॉप के सामने बैठ के आप लिंक पर क्लिक करके यू एंटर द मीटिंग। वंस यू एंटर द मीटिंग, उसके बाद चीजें आपके हाथ में अब नहीं। अब बेसिकली यू आर इन द क्लास। अगर आप सुनते रहेंगे, बहुत ज्यादा अटेंटिव अगर कोई नहीं भी है, तो भी यू विल फाइंड दैट यू आर एबल टू एक्चुअली ग्रास्प मोस्ट ऑफ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग इन द क्लास। तो उस तरह से वो शुरू एक हो जाएगा आपका। अच्छा, अगर धीरे धीरे करके आप वैल्यू क्लास से लेते रहते हैं तो इट विल अल्टीमेटली, जो आपका लक्ष्य था कि पूरी क्लास को हम कर लें और कोर्स कंप्लीट कर लें, वो नेचुरली वो जो है आप उस लक्ष्य को प्राप्त आप कर लेते हैं। दैट इज द होल कॉन्सेप्ट। दिस इज वन वन स्मॉल आइडिया, बट आई वुड वेरी मच रिकमेंड कि आप लोग उस किताब को थोड़ा सा मतलब उसका ऑडियो वर्जन कम से कम यूट्यूब पे ट्राई कर लीजिए। मैं यहाँ पे आपको एटॉमिक आप चैट में देखिएगा प्लीज। ये है किताब, ठीक है। इसको बाद में चेकआउट कीजिएगा ऑन यूट्यूब। चेक इट आउट एज एन ऑडियो बुक।
Yes, sir, it's there.
हाँ हाँ, इट्स देयर ना, आई एम लिसनिंग टू इट, तो डेफिनेटली इट्स देयर। तो इसको आप लोग चेक करके जब आप लोग को मौका लगे तो मैंने सी, अब जैसे ये पढ़ना है किताब, एक अंदर से आदमी को हेजिटेशन होता है किस किताब को पढ़ें नहीं पढ़ें, कब टाइम निकलेगा। मेरा कहना है कि कोई ऐसे समय में ना, जब आप कुछ और कर रहे हैं, अपना ईयरफोन्स लगाए, 15 मिनट सुन लीजिए। अगर आप 15 मिनट रोज सुनेंगे इसको, तो रफली आप समझिए कि विद इन बाय द एंड ऑफ द मंथ यू विल हैव फिनिश्ड बड़े आराम से। 5 घंटा टाइम आपको चाहिए, तो रफली 20 दिन लगेगा आपको इसको खत्म करने में, इफ यू गो एट इट एट 15 मिनट्स पर डे। उससे भी कम आप कर सकते हैं, इट डजंट मैटर। जस्ट एक ये एक सजेशन था फॉर स्पेशली फॉर तानिया एंड श्रुति हियर एंड एलिस एंड मोनिका, व्हेन दे कम इट विल बी वेरी गुड फॉर देम आल्सो। परेश जी, ऐसे आप किताब वगैरह लाइक करते हैं तो इसको ट्राई कीजिएगा।
ओके
सर, डेफिनेटली अच्छा लगेगा। अच्छा, आज का जो हमारा ये है जो क्विज है, ये चूंकि यूनिट 2 पर है और यूनिट 2 मोस्टली न्यूमेरिकल था, तो मैं क्या करता हूं कि आप लोग तीनों को ये व्हाट्सएप में ये क्विज में भेज रहा हूं। उसमें ज्यादा, बहुत ज्यादा ये नहीं है, नंबर ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स है नहीं। आप लोग क्या करेंगे कि जो भी आप समझते हैं कि सही है उसको कैलकुलेट आप कर लीजिए, या तो एक्सेल में कर लीजिए या नहीं तो आप इस पर कीजिए, क्या कहते हैं, मैनुअली तो नहीं होगा, या तो एक्सेल पर कीजिए, या थोड़ा सा आप लोग एक काम करेंगे, आप यूनिट 2 का प्रेजेंटेशन पीपीटी आप निकालेंगे। परेश जी आपके पास भी है ना यूनिट 2?
हाँ हाँ सर।
हाँ, तो उस प्रेजेंटेशन को आप लोग निकाल लीजिए, देख लीजिए कि उसमें क्या कैसे बताया गया था, और उसको देख के थोड़ा ट्राई कीजिए इसको। ओके, तो मैं भेज रहा हूं आप लोग को।
यस सर।
मिल गया आप लोग को व्हाट्सएप में?
यस सर।
इसमें मेरे ख्याल में 15 मिनट में ट्राई कीजिए। अभी 6:08 हो रहा है, लेट्स से 6:10, 6:25। तो इसमें आप क्या करेंगे कि व्हाट्सएप में जैसे जो करेक्ट ऑप्शन है ना, एबीसी मानते हुए ऑप्शंस को आप उसमें लिख दीजिए। हो सकता है ऑप्शन उसमें लिखा हुआ ना हो, लेकिन आप फर्स्ट सेकंड थर्ड को एबीसी, 1 मिनट में चेक करता हूँ जस्ट। हाँ ठीक है, उसमें ऑप्शन नहीं है, बट यू जस्ट कंसिडर इट एबीसी। जिस सीरियल में है ना उसी सीरियल को आप एबीसी मान के आप कर दीजिए। परेश जी मिल गया ना?
हाँ मिल गया सर।
इसको कीजिए आप लोग, 15 मिनट टाइम है आपके पास। अगर पहले हो गया तो मैं यहीं पर हूँ, नो प्रॉब्लम।
लेकिन इसको भेजे कैसे, इस ग्रुप पे ही?
हाँ व्हाट्सएप पे देखिए।
नहीं
हाँ
आप।
उसी में, उसी ग्रुप में भेज दीजिएगा, और
ओके ओके
सेम ग्रुप में नीचे में डाल के रख दीजिएगा, 1A 2B 3C ऐसे करके।
ठीक है।
इज इट ओके सबके लिए?
टाइम कंज्यूमिंग है सर।
Yes, sir.
ओके
सर हम बाद में करें इसको बुरा
अच्छा ठीक है ओके।
थोड़ा
बहुत इजी
डिफिकल्ट
है
जा रहा है।
लेकिन इट्स वेरी इजी। आप लोग एक्चुअली इस बहाने यूनिट 2 जो है ना उसको आप लोग पढ़ लें। अच्छा कोई बात नहीं, लेट्स तान्या
Yes,
कैसा लग
sir.
रहा है?
It's time consuming, sir.
ओके ठीक है, देन इन दैट केस ऐसा करते हैं, फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर यूनिट आप लोग नेक्स्ट टाइम नहीं, आप लोग आज किसी समय या कल तक मुझे व्हाट्सएप पर बताइए कि इसका आंसर क्या था। इतना हो सकता है?
Yes, sir.
परेश जी कल आपका वर्किंग डे नहीं, कल तो ठीक है
नहीं
संडे।
कल हाँ व्हाट्सएप पे भेज देते हैं सर।
ओके ठीक है, तो आप लोग तीनों जो हैं इसको व्हाट्सएप पर भेज दीजिए, और जो बाकी ये हैं, आई थिंक प्रवीण एंड एलिस आर देयर। अगर वो इसको अटेम्प्ट, इसको व्हाट्सएप पे मैं मैसेज दे देता हूँ एक, अगर वो लोग इसको अटेम्प्ट करना चाहेंगे तो कर लेंगे। Okay, in that case, let's go back to our insurance जो हम लोग पिछली बार कर रहे थे। ये आप लोग देख पा रहे हैं रिस्क इन इंश्योरेंस?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है ओके। तो अब ये जो सेशन था हमारा लास्ट टाइम अबाउट इंश्योरेंस, इट्स क्लियर टू एवरीवन ना, कोई इसमें परेशानी तो नहीं हुई थी? एवरीवन इज क्लियर अबाउट दिस होल थिंग? कोई एक क्विक रिवीजन इसका कर लें।
हाँ यस
इट्स क्लियर। हाँ see, just we'll spend 5 minutes on going through the slides which we had looked at last time. पहला कॉन्सेप्ट इसमें ये था कि जो रिस्क होता है दैट इज द पॉसिबिलिटी ऑफ समथिंग अनएक्सपेक्टेड हैपनिंग। आप उम्मीद कर रहे हैं कि कुछ ऐसा होगा, वो हटके कुछ और हो जाता है। दैट इज वन। इसमें वी हैड गिवन दीज एग्जांपल्स, और 3 एग्जांपल्स बेसिकली टू एक्सप्लेन दिस, in which we took life, property and the concept of health, and we said that तीनों ही केस में अगर कोई ऐसी घटना हो जाती है जिसको कि आप एंटिसिपेट नहीं किए थे, then in that case it is possible that is the definition of risk. In technical terms it means कि जो भी desired outcome था, जो आप रिजल्ट चाह रहे थे, desired result था, उससे हट के अगर कुछ हो जाता है तो that adverse deviation वही आपका रिस्क। बिकॉज आपकी प्लानिंग जो है वो ऐसी होनी चाहिए कि अगर ये रिस्क हो जाता है तो इन दैट केस व्हाट विल आई डू, हाउ विल आई मैनेज, दैट इज द होल आइडिया। एंड वी टुक दीज 3 एग्जांपल्स। इन वन केस ऑफ डेथ, वन वाज एक्सीडेंट एंड वन वाज सिकनेस, एंड दीज आर 3 थिंग्स व्हिच नॉर्मली अ पर्सन विल एक्सपेक्ट विल नॉट हैपन। इफ इट हैपेंस, हमारे पास में ऑप्शन क्या है? वी कैन गो फॉर इंश्योरेंस। Then we understood this point कि how an insurance company makes profit. और इसमें our basic point was कि the insurance company has to collect sufficient premium so that जो भी वो expect कर रहा है कि इतने claims होंगे, ये जो हमारे pool हैं लोगों के, उसमें से इतने claims हम लोगों को दिए जाएंगे, out of that if they are able to save some money they will get a profit. This means that the calculation of the number of people who will actually bear loss and make a claim has to be correct. And here we said that in this example, we said that we will assume that about 12% of people are going to suffer loss and make claims. If 12% of people make a loss, then that means 120 people out of 1,000 are affected. And the number of these persons have to be compensated. 1 लाख रुपए सभी को दिए जाएंगे, and that means आप 1 crore 20 lakhs का पेमेंट इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को करना ही होगा हर हालत में. And in which case they have to collect a premium which is more than this. And we in our example we calculated it like this: the premium has to be 12,000 per person plus 1,000 for their charges and profit. And if everything goes according to the plan, that is that desired outcome, if everything goes according to that, then the insurance company at the end of this cycle will end up with a profit of 10 lakh rupees. Then we explained this concept of peril and hazard. इसमें will one of you please summarize peril or hazard क्या था? Anyone? Peril I have put on the board for you. Shruti, Tanya, कोई भी? Paresh ji, any thoughts on this?
Sir, peril is a cause of loss, and hazard, we can say harm for property or life.
So basically, anything which will increase the loss, a condition that may create or increase the loss from a given peril. इसमें basically जैसे fire है. तो in the case of fire, अगर आप inflammable material रखते हैं, तो उसमें दोनों ही चीज होंगे ना. The chances of that fire occurring are increasing because you are keeping inflammable material. And at the same time, the quantum of loss may also be more because the type of fire which will happen by keeping inflammable material is naturally going to be very severe. As a result of that, there is a chance that you will have more loss. So anything which increases the chances of that peril happening is a hazard. In this case, inflammable material. In the case of theft, अगर हम दरवाजा खुला छोड़ दें या बहुत सस्ती किस्म के लॉक लगाते हैं दरवाजे पे, तो what will happen? The chances are that we will have theft. और उस केस में, if there is the chance of theft is being increased by the hazard of cheap locks or the fact that there is no security system at all. Earthquake. If the building is structurally weak, the chance of damage to the building from an earthquake is higher. The type of loss which will be sustained, the loss will be much more. So these are some of the things which we discussed last time. We also discussed something called moral hazard. और moral hazard में हम लोगों ने कहा था कि where the insured person begins to feel that he is protected by insurance, therefore he can take more risk. So a person driving, in our example, we said that I think the example which I was giving you last time was that of a person who hires a vehicle from one of these companies like Zoom. So when he hires that vehicle, what happens is that it is possible for him now to drive that car, enjoy the vehicle, but since he knows that this vehicle is insured for any loss, he tends to take more risk. Because he knows that if there is an accident, minor accident where he is personally not injured, then in that case, the insurance company will take care of the loss to the car. He will not have to pay. So because of that, he finds it easier to take more risk. That is the risk, that is the moral hazard. Similarly, we can say that banks, if you tell a bank that every time you make a bad loan, every time एक NPA हो जाता है आपका, तो सरकार आपको पैसे दे देगी. Then what will happen? The bank may find it quite convenient to ignore guidelines to give loans to anyone who comes, and in the process, it will basically have a very bad loan portfolio, and it will lead to, let's say, ultimately the loss to the bank itself. Then we spoke about the concepts of risk sharing and risk transfer. This you can read on your own. This is not not something which we need to explain in class. Examples of risk reduction, we gave these examples for each type of risk. And then we came to this concept of planning and insurance program, where we said that each person has unique goals, and we consider the goals of an individual, a couple, a family, a single parent, living together. We looked at these different, different aspects which affect the actual amount of insurance that you may require. And then we looked at this, should you insure or not? And we looked at these three principles, the large loss principle, where we said that in certain cases where the loss will be very huge, it is better to insure. Even though you will have to pay a premium, it is better that you insure it, because in case that risk actually happens, you will not be able to sustain the loss. It will lead to make you financially a cripple. So we said that if the one way of understanding this is look at the total amount of loss which can happen, find out the proportion of that loss to your total net worth. And if you find that it is, let's say, 10% or 12%, then in that case, you should immediately get that insured, so that in case that a particular problem happens, you are in a position to actually handle it. Otherwise, you can be in big trouble. So that is one aspect. Then we said that there are some cases where there can be smaller losses. In case that risk happens, there will be a small loss. But let's say that you have a house and you don't have any valuable in it. If some basic pieces of furniture are there, some kitchen utensils are there, nothing very, and you come to this house and you stay sometimes only. Now, you don't take insurance for theft and burglary. You are not there, one day a theft occurs. Now, what will happen worst case? Some items may be stolen. But since the value of the items itself was not very high, it is okay for you to take the risk. There is no need to go for insurance. Insurance is desirable. It will be good if you take insurance. But if you don't take insurance, it will not lead to a situation where financially you will be burdened by the loss. So that was one aspect. And then we said that there are certain cases where the losses are very minor, in which case insurance is available always, but there is no point in taking insurance in that case. So whether you should take insurance or you should not take insurance, ultimately what decides this factor? It is the amount of expected loss. If you find that the loss which can happen if that risk occurs is very large, then you should definitely insure. If you find it is not so large, then it is optional. And if you find it is very small, then probably it is better not to insure at all. So these are three things which we looked at. We looked at these two policies, term life. Okay, this is an easy one. Will someone tell me a little about term life and endowment policies? Shruti?
Yes, sir. I'd like to try.
हाँ, try. तान्या, आप endowment के बारे में बताना. Paresh ji, you can watch how your friends do here. Come.
Okay.
ठीक. Shruti?
Yes, sir. So term life insurance policy is the one which we take and pay for a period of time, like whole period of time while we work, and we get money only if we die.
Okay.
and it will be only given to our dependents,
Hmm.
and the amount of coverage is higher than the normal endowment policy here.
Okay. तान्या, endowment क्या होता है? Tanya will remain quiet now.
Sorry, sir.
Okay, no problem. So you pay attention now. See, term life insurance is basically taken for a fixed term to maximize the protection which you can give to your dependents. That is the basic idea. So you are trying to take a policy which will ensure that in case of death, the dependents are able to continue living the type of life they are used to. Whatever expenses they have, that sort of income will come from the insurance amount, and they will be able to continue living that life. This generally happens where the person concerned is the main breadwinner in the family, the main income earner in the family. So in the case of a term insurance policy, it will only have a death benefit. Okay, endowment policy. Okay, then Shruti, tell me endowment policy, since Tanya is withdrawing.
Yes, sir. Endowment policy, in this policy, we have to pay premium only for a fixed period of time. And even if the payer survives, the money will be given back to him. And even if he dies, he'll also get back the money. In both cases, he'll get the money. But here, you have to pay a premium, but there will not be a large cover as compared to that term insurance policy. That's
So it has a death benefit and it also has a survival benefit. So if the person dies, then also his dependents will get some money. If the person survives, he will get back the amount of premium plus whatever amount was earned by the premium. Generally, it is referred to as a bonus. He will get that. That is the survival benefit. This type of insurance is combining two things. It is trying to combine investment with protection. See, remember one thing. If there is one word in which you explain, suppose I give you only one word and say, what is the purpose of insurance? The word answer is protection of dependents. Protection. It is not investment. Now, today, what I have for you is, I have brought a small example here from ICICI Pru. Look at this. So let's just look what they are trying to tell you. This is a screenshot from their website, and they are trying to tell you that if you pay a premium of 5,000 rupees per month, that means you are paying 60,000 per year. This is for a person who is about 30 years old, healthy, male, and this is also exclusive of taxes. So GST will come on this. But look at the huge amount of premium you will be paying. So you are going to pay 5,000 rupees per month. That means you will be paying 60,000 rupees. You will get a life cover of 6 lakhs. That means in the case of death, the dependents are only going to get 6 lakh rupees. That's all. And other option is, if the person survives, he will get a pension of 9,505 per month after the 12th year. For 10 years you will pay. 12th year onwards, you can, this is one of the ways in which they are giving it back to you. You can opt for a single payment, in which case they will give you much less. But here what they are saying is that from the 12th year onwards, we will pay you 9,505. In the second case, you will pay 7,500 per year. That means you are paying per month. That means you are paying 90,000 per year. You get a cover of 9 lakhs and you will get 14,227 per month for the next 10 years after the 12th year. The return is guaranteed, tax-free, and all premiums paid also get you a tax benefit. See, what is this insurance company basically doing? It is making something which is very, very ordinary look very attractive. So if you look at this closely, what was the purpose of insurance? Protection. So what protection is the dependent going to get on this amount? If the main income earner in the family is no longer there, then in that case, if only 6 lakh rupees is given to the family, how much support are they going to get from 6 lakhs or 9 lakhs or 12 lakhs? The other question is, if I am paying, let's say I take a 12 lakh policy and I am paying 10,000 rupees per month, that means I am paying a premium of 1,20,000 per year. Okay, I will get a tax benefit on this. And at the end of it, if I manage to maintain this, I will manage to get this after the 12th year. That means for the period of the policy, in case of death, the only amount the family is getting is 12 lakhs. This very attractive benefit is only going to come to me after the 12th year, in which case this part is more of a pension option. This is not for the purpose of protection in between, because this protection starts after the 12th year. And by the time this protection starts, the death benefit is gone. Are you people understanding what is happening here? Paresh ji?
Sir, one question. If this pension thing starts, then even if the person dies, he'll not get that life cover.
That cover is only for 10 years. No?
Okay.
That cover is only for 10 years. But think of it this way, Shruti. Suppose the person gets that also. Now, you will in these policies, now generally, this is just an example, both options are there. In these policies, both options are there, that if the person dies, he will get. If he doesn't die, if you take that case, like in every, whenever he dies, he is going to get, then it is no longer an endowment policy. Because in that case, the insurance company will always have to pay this 12 lakhs. No? One day the person will die. Nobody is immortal. No? So there is always a restriction. The death has to take place within this period. Even in a term insurance policy, if you notice that that term is there. Even here, it's there. No? You pay for 10 years. From the 12th year onwards, they will give you this amount. And for how long will they give you this? They will give you for the next 10 years. You are buying protection for yourself for the years 12th year to the 22nd year. That's all. In between, you are paying for this. Now, the purpose of this policy, to my mind, is not clear. Because basically what happens is that suppose you take this policy and you make it time with your retirement. Paresh ji, aap isko dekh rahe hain?
Yes, sir.
What are your thoughts on this policy?
नहीं सर, सॉरी, मुझे प्लांट से एक फोन आया था तो मैं थोड़ा फोन पे था.
Okay. Can we start again? एक बार इसको देखेंगे आप?
हाँ, please sir.
See, this policy, ICICI Pru ka policy hai. What it is saying is, they are offering you 3 options. One is a life cover of 6 lakhs, one is 9 lakhs, one is 12 lakhs. If you take 6 lakhs, or let us take this, the middle one. Suppose you take 9 lakhs. So you are giving 7,500 per month as premium. That means you are paying a yearly premium of 90,000 rupees. And in return for 90,000, what is the protection that the family is getting? They are getting a protection of only 9 lakhs. That's all. Now you will pay this 90,000 to them for 10 years. When you pay it for 10 years, in return for that, what they will give you is, they will give you this pension of 14,247 rupees per month, starting from the 12th year and it will continue for the next 10 years. This is what they are trying to, this is what they are selling on their website. This is the classic endowment policy where, like I was telling you, the main focus has shifted from protection to investment. So in this particular case, what is happening? Suppose a person who is, let's say, 50 years old, he goes for this policy. The first thing that will happen is, let's take this example only. A person who is 30 years old, he goes for this policy. Now, if a person is 30 years old, he will basically contribute till his 40th year. 40th year mein, he won't get anything. From year 42, when he's 42 years old, till the time he's 52 years old, he will get a pension of 14,247 per month. Now you tell me one thing, who needs that money at that stage?
Sir, and according to my calculation, he has to pay 1 crore 8 lakh for
Exactly.
in 10 years.
Huh.
And get 17 lakh 9,000 as a pension for 10 years.
So think about it. And if you go into terms like present value, then you will see what you will get.
Very less, very less.
But this is how, and when they promote this, if you read the literature behind this, now you will see that they are selling it like it is one of the best options that is available. And this is not just the case of this one company. This is there with all companies. This is just an example. And maybe it serves a purpose for certain people. But my point is that a person who is 30 years old, see, Shruti and Tanya, please try to understand this. Between the ages of 30 and 40, if a person is giving premium, tell me one thing, and Pareshji will not answer this immediately. He will give you a chance to answer, then he will answer. Your income at the age of 30 and your income at the age of 42, which is likely to be higher?
At the age of 42.
At the 42.
At the age of 42, and it will likely be much, much higher than you are at the age of, you have got, in this period, you have got promotions, you have got increments. All of us, if we compare what we earned, if you ask me what did I earn at the age of 30 and what did I earn at age 42, the difference is almost double or more between those two ages. Now from 42, suddenly I'm getting an extra income, and that extra income is just extra. It is not serving any purpose right now. See, the pension is useful only if it comes to you on a permanent basis after retirement. Even if you get a pension for 10 years after retirement, then that pension is not of so much use because it will finish after 10 years. After that, what will that person do? One thing to think about. The second thing which you think about is that if a person is, let's say, trying to get this pension after retirement, then he would be 50 years old, or let's say he would be 48 years old. He will pay till the age of 58, and from 60, he will begin to get this pension because the pension is payable after the 12th year. Then what happens after that? He will get this amount. But you think the premium will only be 7,500 per month for a 50-year-old person?
No, sir, it will likely be higher.
It will be much, much higher. So if you look at it that way, for a person who will actually need that pension, for that person, the premium is going to be very high. And when he gets the pension, he will get it only, let's say, at a time for a period of time after his retirement, after which again he has to make further arrangements. Otherwise, how will he survive? So these, in the case of insurance, now you should be very clear that the retirement planning cannot rely on this sort of policy. And here I'm saying very clearly that when I am taking this example, of this company, it doesn't mean that this is the only company doing it. All companies are basically selling variations of this product only. there is no difference in the type of product. You may find that some of the premiums here, maybe the premiums might be slightly less, some of these may be slightly more. But the basic thing to remember in insurance is that the purpose of insurance is to provide for the dependent. And if that provision is very low, like this, like what is happening here, this 9 lakhs and things like that, then it means that it is not worth it. And that is my main objection to an endowment policy. That is why, now think of it like this. Suppose you were to, let's take the case of this same 30-year-old. He is paying 90,000 premium, he is getting a cover of 9 lakhs. If this 30-year-old were to take a term insurance policy of 1 crore, he would be paying roughly 20,000 as premium. 70,000 is left. So in 20,000, he will get a life cover for 20 years of, not 10 years, mind you, he'll get it for 20 years. And 20 years, he will get this life cover for 1 crore. The remaining 70,000 you can use to build up your retirement plan. And that is why you should always try to combine the endowment policy, the term insurance policy with a good investment product. And if you are able to do this, you are able to get the best of both worlds. You are getting the best protection also, and you are able to earn a decent return on the amount you save also. So is this point clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So Shruti and Tanya, when it comes to your turn to go for insurance, remember this class and make sure you don't get carried away by any such advertisement
Agent.
which takes you to the wrong product. Tanya, are you clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we come to another risk, the risk of property. Now, property is less complicated than life because property has a value. In the case of life, and we will get to that point today, calculating how much insurance you actually need is slightly complicated. But in the case of property, it is very, very simple. So there is the physical damage risk. Whatever property you have, whether it's a house, whether it's a music system, whether it is a car, anything, it is let's say the furniture in your office, there is the risk of physical damage. The perils are well known. What are the sources of this risk? The reason for this risk? Fire, theft, burglary, natural calamities. Vandalism means loot part, that sort of thing. It is very easy to understand what my risk is. The second part of the risk is, if the property is damaged, you will not be able to use that property. Now, the assumption is that you need the property for some particular purpose. If the property is damaged, you are unable to get the full benefit from that part of property. For example, if your car is damaged, you are unable to drive the car. So that is a problem. If the house is damaged, and if it is damaged seriously badly, you will have to find an alternate accommodation during that period. Why this is important is, this is also the risk of losing use of the property is also leading to a situation where you are having to pay something. You are paying something to manage. The other concept is, so one concept which we spoke about is the risk of property. There is another type of liability which a person has, which is something which you may not have thought of, but which is actually something to understand here. That is personal liability. So the personal liability is the legal responsibility for the financial cost of another person's loss or injury. Okay, let us try to understand this. So how will this happen? A child walks across your property and sustains injury because you had left sharp gardening tools in your garden. the child's family can make a claim against you for the cost of treatment of the child. Now, this example is not so correct in the case of India because यहाँ पर इस तरह का claims ना हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि कोई हमें पैसे देगा इसके लिए, ना इसके लिए claim करते हैं. West में, the Western countries, a parent whose child is hurt because of a sharp gardening tool in somebody else's garden, he will make a claim. So let's say that a person enters somebody else's house, he's trying to walk up the stairs, or उसमें the stairs are defective, सीढ़ी में कुछ problem है, सीढ़ी टूट जाती है, वो गिर जाता है और he suffers some injury. There is a personal liability on the part of the owner of the house to compensate this person for the let's say the medical bills which he will now have. That is the concept of personal liability. Now, so the legal responsibility for such actions, ऐसा कब होगा personal responsibility आपका? एक तो negligence, like वो जो the example of the child, that is one example. Failure to take reasonable care, like I was explaining in the case of the stairs. So, in both these cases, a third party is getting injured, but you are still responsible because of negligence. Negligence on your part leading to a loss can actually create this. Now, you may think that this does not apply in our country at all, but that is not the case. It can apply in certain cases. One case in which it definitely applies is in the case of car insurance. Paresh ji, or can you think car insurance में कौन सा part है जो personal liability से related है?
क्या car personal liability?
हाँ, in the case of car का insurance आप करते हैं, उसका एक component है which is related to this concept. जैसे कार का आप इंश्योरेंस कराते हैं, let's say you go for a comprehensive insurance. So in that case, if the car is stolen, you will be compensated. If the car is damaged, you will be compensated. If there is an accident, there will be a compensation. ये सब चीजें ठीक है. But there is one more aspect for which you are paying a premium, and that is third party.
Third party, right.
Third party insurance में, you know it very well. I'll just for the benefit of Shruti and Tanya, I'll say, कि third party insurance means if you are driving a vehicle and because of you have an accident and somebody else is hurt, third party is hurt, you have a responsibility to compensate that person for your negligence. And that is the concept of personal liability. And this is why it is not mandatory to have insurance for burglary or insurance for accident for your car. But it is absolutely mandatory. Legally, it is a must for you to have a third-party insurance. If somebody else has a claim against you, in that particular case, you cannot take the claim that I don't have any money, I don't have any insurance, therefore I will not pay. You have committed a mistake while driving, somebody else has been damaged. Because of that, if that person has to be compensated, then in that case, you have to have insurance so that the insurance company can actually pay that bill. Let's take the case of, something like this, that a person has a car accident on the road, and it is found that he was driving while he was, let's say, drunk. He had had a few drinks before. There's an accident. The police come, they check, they find that he is drunk and he should not have been driving. Now the other car is damaged badly. Now, who is responsible for paying for the damages to the other car? Because of the fact that you were driving in a state of mind or in a physical condition which was not good for driving and which was illegal, you drove like that, the other car is damaged. Therefore, you will be responsible for the damage which has been sustained by the other car. And since you are responsible for that, you will have to have an insurance company which will pay the bill. And this is why third-party insurance is compulsory in the case of vehicles. So if a person does not take insurance for burglary, does not take insurance for any other form of damage to the car, let's say by an accident, it will still not matter. कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता है उससे. But he has to have this third-party insurance. Now there are two more concepts which you should understand. One is this strict liability. So this is for an action done by an individual personally. That same individual has done something intentionally or unintentionally. Like for example, the liability of a drunk driver. He drives on the road, somebody sustains damage, some property is, let's say, damaged because of the fact that he was driving negligently. Now, because of that, that person is liable for it. And that liability is called strict liability. So what are the conditions out here? It should be done, the action should be done by the individual himself. The other is vicarious liability. Vicarious liability is the responsibility for another person. For example, when will this happen? Where that person is dependent on you. For example, the responsibility of the parent towards for the action of his child. If something like that happens. Employers are sometimes responsible for the actions of their employees. इसका example कोई दे सकता है क्या? Obviously, driving से मतलब नहीं रखेगा. When will this happen? Where the employer is responsible
in case of accident, if employee loses his life.
No, not like that. Not like that, Paresh. Don't think of the driving case. In which situation will you say that the employer, the company, is responsible for the action of its employee and has to pay a liability for that?
If the employer does anything and it turns out to be a loss for the company.
Like, for example?
कि एम्प्लॉय की वजह से किसी भी चीज का नुकसान हो गया, सामान का नुकसान.
एक एग्जांपल तो कैसा नुकसान? एम्प्लॉय जो है वो घर जा रहा था अपनी गाड़ी से और रास्ते में कुछ हो गया. इज द एम्प्लॉयर रिस्पॉन्सिबल?
यस सर.
क्यों?
क्योंकि वो उसको जाने दिया. ऑफिस आवर्स में अगर हुआ है तो वो रिस्पॉन्सिबल होता है ना सर?
नहीं. See, let's say that you work in a company, Shruti, okay, and let's say that it is a 9 to 5 job. At 1 o'clock, you go out, and you go out on official business. You are driving your personal vehicle. On the way, you manage to hit something. There is damage, and let's say that person makes a claim. Will you be responsible, or will your company be responsible?
So in that case, Shruti will be responsible.
I think so. Why will the company pay? See, Tanya is correct. Tanya is talking like the CEO of the company. The company is going to be responsible, not the company will not be responsible in any case. You will be responsible. Now, under what circumstances will the company be responsible for an action done by you? Where it pertains to your official responsibility. For example, let's say that as a result of poor security, let's say in the computer side, the identities of certain people, or let us take a more simple example. A forged check is presented. Let me give you something from banking, because this actually happens. Let's say that there is an employer. The employer is a bank, and the bank, a check is presented in the bank. the check is supposed to be issued by the one of the account holders. एक बंदा आता है check लेके, he presents the bank, he presents the check to the bank, bank makes the payment. Once the bank makes the payment, that person takes the money, he goes away. उसके बाद जो account holder था, जिसका वो चेक था, वो आता है और कहता है कि सर ये चेक तो मैंने I did not draw this check. This check was not made by me at all. And you say that no, we have the check. He says, please look at the signature. Have I signed the check? And then when you look at the signature, you find that the signature is not his. The employee has paid the check by mistake. Now this customer says that look, you have paid this check by mistake. Check का amount था 50,000. ये 50,000 रुपए की भरपाई कौन करे? You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Shruti, Tanya, both of you, are you clear? Paresh ji, did you listen to that?
Yes, sir. I listen.
So who will be responsible?
In this case, company is responsible.
Company is responsible. Okay. Paresh ji, who is responsible?
Employer had to sustain that loss. Actually,
Mhm.
responsible, but
But
at last the employer is to bear that loss.
at last, who will bear the loss?
Employer.
No, let's say the employer is the bank. Okay. Employer is the bank, and let's say the employee is Rajesh. Customer is, let's say, Ganesh.
Okay.
Now, Ganesh ka check aata hai. Rajesh pays by mistake. Ganesh makes a claim on the bank कि 50,000 rupees का मेरा चेक आप लोगों ने गलत पेमेंट किया, मुझे पैसे वापस करो. Who will return the money?
So bank will return the money.
Bank will return the money.
Okay, bank will return the money. So in this particular case, all of you are accepting that the employer, the bank is responsible for the action of his employee. ये अलग बात है कि बाद में वो बैंक जो है वो राजेश से पैसे ले लेगा. That is a separate issue.
Sir,
That
why
is a separate issue because Rajesh is responsible under this clause, strict liability. The action has been done unintentionally by Rajesh. See the first clause, for an action done by an individual intentionally or unintentionally. So in this example, Rajesh is responsible for the loss to his employer, to the bank. So he will compensate the bank for whatever mistake he has made. But the customer is not concerned with Rajesh. The customer Ganesh is only concerned with the bank. For him, the other party is the bank. He is dealing with the bank. He is not interested in whether the bank is employing Rajesh or whether the bank is employing somebody else to do this job. So the customer will take his particular problem, his grievance complaint to the bank. The bank will now have to compensate him. So the bank is, why is the bank considered liable? Because the employee belongs to the bank. And that is why they have what you call a vicarious liability. It is a legal word, but in a situation like this, the liability of the bank is because of an action wrongly done by its employee. But the employee himself has a liability, a strict liability to the bank. And the bank has a vicarious liability towards the customer. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Similarly, the parent is responsible for the behavior of his child, etc., etc. Now, there can be many reasons for insurance. We have discussed many of these: education of children, protecting the family from loss of income or account of a mishap, retirement income, protecting property losses due to mishaps, protection and savings, something like that endowment policy which we just saw. वो इस category में आ रहा है. अच्छा, we'll take a short break. I think as per our rules, we should be having a 5-minute break. It is 7 past 7. So we can come back again at 12 past 7 if you want. 5 minute
sir.
break.
Okay. Okay.
Fine, ठीक है. Okay, everyone, I'm back. Shruti, Paresh ji. Okay. Shruti, Paresh ji, Tanya, are you all here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. So, see, this is like a summary of what we did. So, we said that there can be many purposes of insurance. Now, endowment policies are best thought of not for protection of family, but for some goal. You take some goal and you can have an endowment policy for that particular purpose. And then you will pay the premium. You will get additionally a life cover will also be there. So in that way, it is okay. You can think of it like that. If you, for protection of family, of course, the best way to proceed is the term insurance. For retirement income, there are pension plans like we saw, but that sort of pension plan is not actually proper. There are better pension plans. We'll look at that later. Then property losses, there is property insurance, and there is a combination of protection of family and savings, which is basically an endowment policy only. So these are the different things which are
Excuse
available. Yes.
Sir, the first ones are education of children. Sir, there is some kind of insurance that is provided, like if a child is going to pursue his education for that purpose.
Basically, it is a question of वो marketing के तरीके हैं. Essentially, जो product है वो वही है कि you are paying a certain premium. After during, let's say the period of the insurance is 10 years. So 10 साल के लिए you will pay a premium. During those 10 years, there will be a death benefit. In case of death, a certain amount of money will go to the dependents. After that, 10 years is over, a lump sum amount will be given to you. And that lump sum amount can be used for any purpose. So as a way of promoting the policy or marketing the policy, I can say that you can use this lump sum for the education of your child.
Yes,
Do you
sir.
understand? ये मार्केटिंग के तरीके हैं. जो बेसिक प्रोडक्ट है, इट इज नॉट चेंज. बेसिक प्रोडक्ट वही है. यू पे अ प्रीमियम, there is a death benefit, there is a survival benefit. It is for a short period of time. The survival benefit is that you will get the full amount of premium plus you will get the bonus, whatever amount is there. So एक lump sum amount आपको मिल जाएगा और उस amount को लेके आप कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. So one way of marketing this is to use that money for the education of your children. And जब आप प्रीमियम्स देते हैं, you are getting a certain tax benefit. So government is also encouraging you to do this. तो वो आपको एक tax benefit दे रही है. So when the insurance company markets its product, it also takes this point into view कि भाई आपको tax benefit भी मिल रहा है. At the end of it, आपको ये पैसे मिल जाएंगे. Use it for the education of your child. That is the basic logic behind it. ठीक है तान्या?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Then these are some of the cover that is available for different forms of loss. So loss to house and other structures. This is the main part of the policy and the basis for other components of this policy. Additional living expenses due to damage to the house. This is interesting. In foreign countries, they are given an option that if you pay an additional premium, we will provide you with a living expense till your house is repaired. Suppose a house is damaged because of fire. एक फायर इंश्योरेंस आपने लिया, the house is damaged because of fire, and then after the fire there is no place for you to live because the house is too badly damaged. तो आप क्या करेंगे? You will have to stay in a hotel या कहीं भी आपको रहना पड़ेगा, उसमें खर्च आएगी आपको. So the insurance company will meet that expense. तो प्रीमियम जब वो कैलकुलेट करते हैं, they will take this into account. So you will pay a slightly higher premium, but you will get this additional benefit. So this is limited to 10-20% of the policy amount. That means if the policy is, let us say, for 20 lakhs, then this particular aspect, additional living expenses, is, say, let's say, between 2 and 4 lakhs. That means if that person is forced to live in a different residence while his house is being repaired, he will at least be able to get this money from the insurance company specifically for that purpose. So this is one aspect. And a time period is specified during which living expenses will be provided by the insurance company. तो insurance company कहेगी अच्छा ठीक है 6 महीने के खर्च हम लोग इस पॉलिसी के तहत आपको दे देंगे, आप 6 महीने में अपने घर बनवा लीजिए, आप वापस चले जाइए. So you will be absolutely covered. The other part is loss to personal property in the house. So the items have to be listed along with cost. This is available in India also. Damage to the house is also covered, and loss to property within the house, this is also covered. लेकिन जो प्रॉपर्टी घर के अंदर है उसको कवर करने के लिए क्या करना पड़ेगा? पहले से इंश्योरेंस कंपनी को आई विल हैव टू गिव अ लिस्ट कि these are the items which are there in my house. They can send someone to inspect. इसके वैल्यूएशन इतने इतने हैं और अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट वो अपना प्रीमियम भी एडजस्ट करेंगे और in case of the fire happening and these items getting damaged, they will pay you for it. Or of course, that option is always there. If there is some very valuable item, you can take a specific insurance for that item. Let's say कि कुछ jewelry items आपके पास में हैं and you feel that this requires a special cover, so you can have a special item for that. तो एक एग्जाम्पल यह हमने दिया था कि इन इंडिया न्यू इंडिया इंश्योरेंस कंपनी प्रोवाइड्स अ हाउस होल्डर्स पॉलिसी व्हिच टेक्स केयर ऑफ दीज थिंग्स, दिस लॉस टू पर्सनल प्रॉपर्टी इन द हाउस अपार्ट फ्रॉम लॉस टू द हाउस इटसेल्फ. ओके, ये क्लियर हुआ सबको दिस पार्ट कि हाउस इंश्योरेंस में क्या क्या कवर्स होता है? सो इफ लेट्स से 2 weeks from now I ask you a question on this, you should be able to answer a multiple choice in which I ask questions about what sort of cover is available in the case of house insurance. So remember this slide. Okay, हम लोग पर्सनल लायबिलिटी की बात कर रहे थे. Which company offers this? हाउस होल्डर्स पॉलिसी जैसे न्यू इंडिया इंश्योरेंस कंपनी का है, that offers you this particular component, personal liability. So covers the insured's legal liability for bodily injury or loss or damage to property of third party limited to the amount specified in the schedule and workmen's compensation liability to domestic servants engaged in insured's premises. इसका क्या मतलब है? If a person sustains some damage due to negligence on your part inside your house, या if a घर में कोई काम करता है आपके लिए, लेट्स से कोई नौकर है वो काम कर रहा है और उस नौकर को चोट लग जाती है आपके घर में काम करते हुए, एंड द रीजन फॉर दैट इज सम नेग्लिजेंस ऑन योर पार्ट. लेट्स से दैट एक फॉल्टी इलेक्ट्रिक वायरिंग था, आग लग जाती है किचन में, द कुक सस्टेन सम बर्न्स, तो उसकी जो जिम्मेदारी होगी दैट इज योर्स, दैट इज अ पर्सनल लायबिलिटी. And this householders policy is covering that sort of personal liability. जैसे ये householders policy यहाँ है, US में there is something called a homeowners policy. तो वहाँ पर भी वही चीज है कि अगर कोई कारण से कोई लॉस हो जाता है किसी को, somebody sustains an injury जब वो आपके घर के अंदर हो, तो at that point of time they will compensate that person. Okay. Motor insurance. So comprehensive policies are taken by owners of new vehicles. provides complete comprehensive policy अगर होगा, ये नाम है actually policy का, तो it will provide complete cover including damage to the vehicle, theft of the vehicle, damage due to natural calamities, third party losses. कोई loss अगर vehicle को होता है, that will be there. इस context में there is one point which I just wanted to ask you people. Paresh ji, are you here with us? Paresh ji?
Sir, 1 second. I'm on phone actually.
Okay, fine. ठीक है, it's okay, no problem. So Shruti and Tanya, for you, there is a concept in motor insurance which is referred to as a deductible. तो इसका मतलब ये होता है, let's say that I am going for an insurance of my car, and my car, जब हम कार इंश्योरेंस करते हैं या टू व्हीलर इंश्योरेंस करते हैं, तो आई हैव टू स्टेट व्हाट इज द वैल्यू ऑफ माय व्हीकल. लेट्स से कि आई हैव अ व्हीकल व्हिच आई हैव बॉट 2 years ago. तो द इंश्योरेंस कंपनी विल से दैट द वैल्यू ऑफ योर व्हीकल आफ्टर डिप्रिसिएशन, आपकी गाड़ी 2 साल पुरानी हो गई है, तो ऑब्वियसली इसमें डिप्रिसिएशन कंपोनेंट जो है वो लेस हो जाएगा. लेट्स से द ओरिजिनल कॉस्ट ऑफ द मोटरसाइकिल वाज 1 lakh, and the insurance company says that we will have a depreciation of 10% per year. तो वो कहेगी कि ठीक है भाई, 2 साल हो गए, अब इस मोटरसाइकिल के वैल्यू 80,000 रुपये है. So your insurance is for 80,000. Now you say that up to 10,000 I will not make any claim. You are saying that in case there is an accident and the motorcycle is damaged, then in that case, you are saying I will not claim if the damage amount is below 10,000. इसका मतलब ये हो गया कि the insurance company will not have to pay anything up to 10,000 rupees of loss. इससे फायदा आपको क्या होगा? Your premium will come down. Premium will come down, and वो small loss principle जिसकी बात हम लोग किए थे कुछ देर पहले, in which we said that if the loss is very small, maybe it is better not to insure for that loss. I can assume that loss. हम उस loss की भरपाई खुद कर लेंगे because loss का जो रकम है वो बहुत बड़ा नहीं है. This was the concept. So by assuming the loss for that 10,000 rupees, I am able to reduce the premium. So this, ये जो हमने 10,000 रुपए तक का loss assume किया, this amount is deducted from the total cover, and that is why it is known as a deductible. इसको reduce कर लेता है insurance company, and उसका impact ये होता है कि your premium is also reduced. This is the concept here. So दूसरा एक और concept है motor insurance में. Suppose during 1 year you do not make any claim, so you get what is known as a no claim bonus. This means that the insurance company is rewarding you for not making a claim. So you were able to drive responsibly, you paid the premium to the insurance company, but you drove very well, no moral hazard problem, and as a result of that, you did not make any claim. So they reward you by giving you a slight reduction in your next premium. Okay, so this is another thing to remember. And then we said that this concept of personal liability which you have covers loss to third parties, including drivers of other vehicles. Agar accident mein there is a loss to the other party's vehicle or the other party's driver, then that is also covered by third party insurance. जो भी damage हुआ होगा और जो भी medical bills वहां पर होंगे, that will be covered by the insurance policy. और ये वाला जो part है, this is legally mandatory in India. और आप बिना इस third party insurance को लिए आप road पर नहीं जा सकते हैं. This is the reason why whenever a new car or motorcycle is bought, before you take that vehicle out of the showroom, you have to get it insured. उसके पहले आप उस गाड़ी को लेकर नहीं जा सकते, वो आपको शोरूम वाले ले जाने ही नहीं देंगे. That is why they will insist कि पहले इसकी इंश्योरेंस आप यही करा. because it is road पर जैसे ही आप आए, then your vehicle has to be insured at that point. So this is one. Then, of course, covers legal liabilities arising out of the accident. Suppose करो कि accident के चलते जो है, there is a dispute between you and the other party, जिसके साथ गाड़ी का आपका accident हुआ था. Two vehicles collide with each other. Because of that, let's say that there is a dispute. वो कहता है कि गलती आपकी थी, आप convinced हैं कि गलती उसकी थी. आप इस मैटर को लेके एक मोटर व्हीकल्स ट्रिब्यूनल में ले जाते हैं टू फाइंड आउट कि फैसला किसके हक में होता है. इन दैट पर्टिकुलर केस ऑब्वियसली यू विल हैव टू गेट द हेल्प ऑफ अ लॉयर. कोई वकील के आप सहायता लेंगे. देयर विल बी लीगल एक्सपेंसेस इन्वॉल्व्ड देयर. देयरफॉर दोज एक्सपेंसेस कैन आल्सो बी कवर्ड बाय अ motor insurance policy. So this is another aspect of motor insurance. So there are three things to note out here. Number one is the concept of deductibles. You can reduce the amount of premium by saying that up to a certain amount, I will not make any claims. Number one. Number two, the concept of a third party liability. This is legally mandatory. If due to an accident, the vehicle of some other person is damaged or the driver is, let's say, injured, then in that case, you are responsible for that and you have to have cover for that. And the third is that if in the case of a dispute with another party, there are legal expenses involved, you can also have a certain amount of insurance for that type of problem. So these are the main highlights of motor insurance. So are you getting this, all of you? Shruti?
Yes, sir.
Did you get this? Koi sawal, anything?
No, sir.
Tanya?
Yes, sir. Getting.
Okay, now we are coming to what according to me is the most interesting thing in today's class. How do I compute my own value? What is my human life value? See, remember we said that the purpose of insurance is to provide protection to our dependents. This is the main purpose of insurance. Now, what is my value to my dependent? What is the amount I am contributing financially to them? If I can calculate that amount will be considered to be my human life value. Now, there are many ways of doing this. Some of them are not so good. And there is one method which I think you will find, as we look at these different methods, probably you will agree that that method is probably the best. But let us look at some of the easier methods. See, yeah, I'm telling you right in the beginning, these methods which we are giving you in this page, the easy method, the double income, no kids method, the non-working spouse methods, these methods are not very effective. But they are simple methods which have been used by insurance companies. And many people, many millions of people probably, have used these methods for getting insurance cover for themselves. So one of these methods is known as the easy method. So what is this? A normal family will need 70% of the salary earned by the insured for 7 years after the death of the insured. So what you are saying is that let's say the insured person had a salary of 3 lakhs per year. 70% of this is 2,10,000. And 2,10,000 per year for 7 years will be equal to 14,70,000. So according to this method, the human life value of this person is 14,70,000, and he should get insurance for this. So this is a very, very chalu type of method, which we can say, but it is very simple. If I want to calculate how much insurance does anyone want, find out how much salary he has, get 70% of that amount. So imagine that a person has a salary of 10 lakhs per year. 70% of that is 7 lakhs. And you say that 7 lakhs for 7 years. 7 lakhs multiplied by 7 is 49 lakhs. So you say, yes, the actual amount of insurance that I require is 49 lakhs. Now, what will happen with 49 lakhs? This 49 lakhs you are expecting will compensate the family for the loss of income due to the death of the incomer. So this is an easy method. It looks very attractive because it is easy. But how good is this method? You will see how good or bad it is when we compare it with some more, what shall I say, detailed methods of getting this. So let's take the second one, double income, no kids. So there are two persons working. The husband is working also. The wife is working also. They don't have children. Now, in this particular case, how much insurance do they need? So, पहली बात हम क्या कह रहे हैं कि इंश्योरेंस का मेन मकसद है प्रोटेक्शन. यहाँ पे दोनों ही काम कर रहे हैं. तो उनमें से एक अगर नहीं भी रहता हो तो दूसरा बंदा will continue to be there, will continue to have an income. Therefore, that person is already financially quite capable, financially independent. ऐसे केस में इंश्योरेंस क्या किया जाएगा? You will only try to think of insuring to cover the debts. अगर कुछ loans ये family, if they have taken any loans, they will try to get insurance cover matching the amount of loan. So if one person dies, at least what amount is received, with that amount, whatever loan amount is there, the loan can be repaid. So the surviving spouse will be able to continue with her or his income without any load of the loan. ये बात समझ में आई आप लोगों को? Shruti and Tanya?
Yes, sir.
Can one of you just summarize this part? The first two methods? Tanya, you summarize one, and Shruti, you summarize one. आप लोग दोनों चुप हो गए.
You asked Tanya to explain first, right?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. Any of you can start. Tanya, why don't you start?
So 2 minutes, sir.
No, 2 minutes. ये देखो क्या, ये तो लिखा हुआ है यहाँ सामने. Read it, understand it, and tell me. First question to you is, what are we calculating out here?
Value of life, how much insurance he is required to take.
ठीक है. Tanya, you understand this?
Yes, sir. Sir, after reading that first point, I understand that he is trying to calculate the insurance.
Amount of insurance.
Amount of insurance.
How much insurance does that person need? So according to the first method, what should he do? Tanya,
Yes, sir.
what should he do to understand? Suppose a person, what are the steps which we are stating here? क्या करना पड़ेगा to understand how much insurance a person needs? First step क्या है? See, the first step is to find out कि हमारा salary क्या है? What
sir,
is my annual salary?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है? If my annual salary is known to us, in this example, what have we said? That the annual salary is 3 lakhs per year. इसका 70% निकाल लो. 70% कितना होगा इसका? 2,10,000. 70% of 3 lakhs is 2,10,000. According to this rule, he's saying take 2,10,000 and multiply by 7. That means 7 years में जो salary का 70% for 7 years, salary for 7 years at a reduced level, वो कितना होता है? If I take 2,10,000 multiply by 7, I will end up with 14,70,000. So what you are saying is that according to this rule, a person having a salary of 3 lakhs per year should have an insurance of 14,70,000. Now, a person having for 5 lakhs per year, uska kitna hoga? Can I calculate this? Suppose a person has 5 lakhs per year. Take your calculator on your phone and calculate this.
Yes, sir.
5 lakhs per year hai. What will be his? So I have calculated. You see, tell me what is your figure?
I have also calculated.
Okay. ठीक है, good. Tanya? $5 lakhs का 70% multiplied by 7.
3,50,000 into 7.
नहीं 5 lakhs का 70%.
Yes, sir.
हाँ, कितना होता है? 3,50,000 multiplied by 7 कितना हो गया?
24.5.
24.5. So according to this rule, a person having an annual income of 5 lakhs per year, for him the amount is 24,50,000. Shruti, यही figure आया था ना?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is one simple method of calculating. I am not saying that this is the best method, but this is, they say it is like a simple insurance agent's thumb rule. भाई कुछ भी समझ में नहीं आ रहा है तो इतना तो कर ही लो. What will happen is it will provide some protection, but maybe not the best protection. This is one. The second concept was double income, no goods. इसके बारे में बताइए श्रुति.
Yes, sir. In this method, first we have to sum up of all our debts and in half of all the loans that we have taken, and to protect the surviving, keep the surviving spouse of free of debts, we'll take that amount for the insurance.
इसमें लॉजिक ये है कि both the persons, both partners are earning money. इसलिए इनको monthly income की जरूरत नहीं है. The only thing that you are trying to do is कि जिस एक आदमी चला गया तो कम से कम उसके हिस्से का डेट को हम निकाल देते हैं. And if you want to be very thorough, you can take the full debt amount, have an insurance for that, and the result will be that in case only one person is left surviving, that person will be at least free of debt. Okay. The third method is not worth actually looking at, the non-working spouse method. It is simply saying that it is a very arbitrary thing. If we are trying to insure a person who is not working, what should we do? So this concept is, in my opinion, not worth looking at all. And the last method is the family need method, which according to me is the best one. And there is a very good way of calculating it also. So we'll move to this method. Now, this is actually, this human life value here. This is what the family need method is also trying to give you. So first of all, what is this human life value? It is the capitalized value of an individual's future net earnings, amount earned less amount spent on self-maintenance costs. Fact ये है कि people will only look at the individual's future earnings and try to understand कि total इसका कितना होगा up till the time of that person's retirement, or that retirement means up till the time he will continue to earn money, what is the total amount of money that he will earn. Now, इसको एक reverse way में देखा जाएगा, we'll come to that. From the dependent standpoint, मतलब कि जो लोग इस income earner पर dependent है, from their point of view, इस individual का human life value क्या है? It is this, the future earnings of this individual, because they are getting, उनका जो भी life है, it is dependent on this earning. If you look at it from this point of view, from the point of view of an employer, वहाँ पर भी that person may have a human life value, but there the human life value of an employee is the value of the services of the employee to the firm. So the human life value of a person will be different for the employer, will be different for his family. So right now we are only looking at the human life value of a person with respect to his family, because he is the person who is providing for the family. The family is entirely dependent on his income. If that person is no longer there, what will be the amount which they need? That is the human life value which is required. Now, human life value is subject to loss through premature death. In the case of death of that income earner, the person will naturally, the total human life value can be reduced, because let's say a person had a working life of 20 years, he dies in the 10th year. So in that particular case, human life value has gone down. If the person incapacity, वो काम करने लायक नहीं रहता है, 10 साल तक काम करता है, उसके बाद काम करने लायक नहीं रहता है because of a accident जिसके चलते एक disability हो जाता है, that can reduce his future income earnings. Retirement will reduce, unemployment will reduce. Any event having an impact on the individual's earning capacity will have an impact on the human life value. But for the purpose of insurance, we generally try to look at this aspect, retirement. What will be the human life value of a person up till the time it is reduced by retirement? So in that particular case, what we do is, we try to look at this human life value from the point of view of the dependent. तो इसमें क्या चीज डिपेंडेंट के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है? एनुअल लिविंग एक्सपेंसेस, स्पेशल फ्यूचर एक्सपेंसेस, डेट, वैल्यू ऑफ एग्जिस्टिंग सेविंग्स. ये अगर 4 चीज हम लोगों को पता लग जाए, वी आर एबल टू कैलकुलेट द ह्यूमन लाइफ वैल्यू ऑफ अ पर्सन. एनुअल लिविंग एक्सपेंसेस में क्या आएगा? सपोज करो, जो अज्यूमिंग कि नॉर्मल एक्सपेंडिचर जो एक परिवार का होता है एक महीने में, let us think of this like this. You pay rent for the house, overhead costs जैसे जो बिजली के बिल्स हैं, वाटर का बिल्स, आपका जो मोबाइल चलता है या फोन है उसके बिल्स, ये एक तरफ हो गया. देर में भी हो सकता है कि घर पे कुछ ऐसे लोग हैं जो कि वो आते हैं, वो काम करते हैं, मेड सर्वेंट्स हैं, उनकी सैलरीज हैं. फिर आपका अपना जो फूड वगैरह का एक्सपेंसेस है, कन्वेयंस है, आप नौकरी करते हैं, रोज आते जाते हैं, उसका, let's say you use a 2-wheeler, there are certain expenses related to that. बच्चे हैं, उनके ट्यूशन फीस है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट, एंटरटेनमेंट, देयर आर टाइम्स जब आप बाहर निकलते हैं, मॉल्स में जाते हैं, कहीं और जाते हैं, व्हाटएवर जो नॉर्मल आप ले सकते हैं एक्सपेंसेस फॉर अ मंथ. सपोज ये आप टोटल लगाते हो कि it comes to 83,300. I have deliberately chosen this figure because if you multiply this by 12, you will get 10 lakhs per year. Suppose this is the figure. Is this part clear to everyone? Shruti,
Yes,
Tanya?
sir.
This is clear, na? This is how you are calculating the amount of expenditure which a family requires on a month-to-month basis. And for 1 year, if we use this method, we are saying that for this family, the expense is rupees 10 lakhs. It will be different for every family. But for this particular family in this income bracket, the amount of expenditure per month is 10 lakhs per year. Now, the question which I need to ask myself is, what is the amount of insurance that will give me an annuity of 10 lakhs for 20 years? Remember, annuity is a fixed sum which is payable to you on a year-to-year basis in the future. When we were starting in unit 2, if you look, you will find that we had also discussed this concept of annuity and the present value of an annuity. Now that principle is now being used here for the calculation of your human life value. See, this is why these fundamental principles in finance, they will keep coming back. And that is why that quiz on unit 2 is important. And why you people should actually take some time to do that quiz and take the opportunity to revise that unit 2. Because it will again get you back to this place, this annuity. Annuity का याद है आप लोगों को?
Yes, sir.
Tanya? तान्या जवाब नहीं दे रही. In that case, Paresh ji, are you with us?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Annuity का याद है उसमें भी आप भी भूल गए annuity.
हाँ सर, हाँ थोड़ा सा मैं भी जब आप
Doesn't matter.
मैं रिकलेक्ट करने का ट्राई कर रहा था.
देखिए, annuity का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या था कि बेसिकली लेट्स से दैट आप 1 लाख रुपए इन्वेस्ट करते हैं इन अ फिक्स्ड डिपॉजिट और वो आपको 7% इंटरेस्ट दे रहा है साल. सो दे विल गिव यू 7,000 रुपीज एवरी ईयर. जब तक 1 लाख रुपया बैंक में रखे रहेंगे तब तक वो 7,000 रुपये साल आपको देता रहेगा. That 7,000 rupees is an annuity. Now, in the context of insurance, how do we use this? We are saying that the expenditure of a family in 1 year is 10 lakhs. That means if they get an annuity of 10 lakhs, 10 लाख रुपए अगर हर साल उसको दे दिया जाए, आप जैसे 1 लाख रुपए जमा करते थे, तो you are getting 10 lakhs per year. So what is the amount that is required which will give this family 10 lakhs per year for 20 years? In the bank example, वो 1 लाख हमारा intact रहता था. We are saying that 1 lakh rupees will remain intact. We will only get the interest. In this particular case, we are not saying that. We are only saying what is the amount which can give me 10 lakhs for 20 years. Bas, that entire amount will be finished in 20 years. Lekin I will manage to get 10 lakhs for 20 years. So this means total में आपको क्या मिलेगा? अगर आपको 10 लाख रुपए मिलेगा 20 साल तक, तो you are getting a total of 2 crores. फर्क सिर्फ ये है कि ये 2 करोड़ आपको मिल रहा है over a 20-year period. तो अगर हम इसका present value निकाल दें, see, if I know the present value today of 2 crores receivable in the future, तो present value का जो concept था उसमें, this is again there in unit 2. Then you will be able to understand कि आपको insurance कितना चाहिए. Present value का क्या concept था कि if you are getting 10 rupees 5 years from today, what is the value of that 10 rupees today? So we used to discount, we used to take, if when we said that the interest rate is 7%, so we'll say that 1.07 to the power 5. If I take that amount which I am receiving, that let's say that what was the amount I mentioned, Shruti, अभी 5 साल के बाद कितने पैसे मिलेंगे?
20 lakh.
Okay, so if I'm getting 20 lakhs 5 years from today, what is the present value of that amount today? I will discount it by the rate of return. So 1.07 to the power 5. If I discount this 20 lakh by this, I will get the present value of 20 lakhs. Now, similarly, if I am getting 10 lakhs 1 year from today, 10 lakhs 2 years from today, 10 lakhs 3 years from today, and so on, up till 20 years, then it should be possible for me to calculate what is the present value of this 10 lakhs over this entire period of time. So what will I do? I will assume a rate of interest. If I assume, in this example, I am saying that let us say that we assume a rate of interest of 6%. So 1 lakh, 10 lakh rupees receivable 1 year from today will have a present value of how much? 10 lakhs divided by 1 point. Anyone? 6% is the rate of interest. 10 lakhs you are getting 1 year from today. What is the present value of this 10 lakhs? 10 lakhs divided by how much? Shruti?
Yes, sir. What did you say? I didn't get it.
I'm saying that suppose I am getting 10 lakhs 1 year from today, and the rate of interest is 6%. What is the present value of that 10 lakhs? Just tell me the calculation. 10 lakhs.
10 lakh divided by 1.06.
Okay. Paresh ji?
Same, sir, same.
Same, ठीक है ना?
Yeah, yeah.
If it is coming 2 years from today, फिर क्या होगा?
1.06 to the power 2.
हाँ? परेश जी? परेश जी आप कुछ कह रहे थे?
सर 5 की जगह सिर्फ 2 हो जाए, power 2.
To the power 2. If it is coming 3 years from today,
then power 3.
Power 3. Okay. So in that case, if I take this 10 lakhs and keep doing this for 20 years, then at the end of it all, I will come to this figure of 1 crore 14.70 lakhs. So it means that the present value of 10 lakhs received over 20 years, each year I'm getting this 10 lakhs, and I'm getting it for a total of 20 years. Actually, I'm getting 2 crores, but the present value of this 2 crores is 1 crore 14 lakh 70,000 if we assume that the rate of discount is 6%. Now, if I know this figure, then it is possible for me to go for an insurance which will give me this 10 lakhs. ये बात समझ में आ रही है आप लोग? ये 10 लाख रुपए मुझे चाहिए हर साल, और ये मुझे चाहिए 20 साल के लिए. Why am I saying 20 years? Because normally I am saying that 20 years of my working life is left. So I want it for 20 years. What will be the amount of insurance that I require? I will require this particular amount. I will get that. I will calculate my annual expenditure, find out, spread it over 20 years, get the present value of that, and that will give me. Now, the easier way of doing this, you can either do this through a present value interest factor table. So if you look at the table, you will find that for 6 years and for a 20-year period, the amount is 11.47. So 11.47 multiplied by 10 lakhs will give you 1 lakh 1470,000. Or you can do this using Excel. The method in Excel that I will show you also. So the method in Excel is like this. So I think, you people today are a little tired, थोड़ा सा distracted हैं आज आप लोग सब.
True, sir.
What we
True. Very true.
What we will do, it doesn't matter. होता है यार. कभी-कभी these things will happen sometimes. What we will do is, we will continue with this tomorrow. But meanwhile, you will have to spend 10 minutes. I'll tell you, it will not take you more than 10 minutes to do that little quiz which I sent you. Just open Unit 2, look at what is there slide by slide, try to apply it to the simple questions which I have given you. You will do it, you will feel good doing it. Because the questions are very simple, there is no complication in those questions. And 2 of the questions, if I am not mistaken, do not require any calculation. That is simple common sense. I think the first question and the last question are like that.
Yes.
Yes.
And the 6 questions which are there in between, or the 7 questions, they are very simple. But you require to just attempt this when you are free. So first of all, I want a commitment from all 3 of you that by tomorrow, you will send me the answers in the WhatsApp.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Sure,
ठीक
sir.
है? Tanya?
Yes.
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, now if you don't do this by tomorrow, there will be a penalty.
No,
The penalty is you will have to send me a coffee by Amazon.
Okay.
यही
Okay.
penalty है कल का.
Sir, that anyway we can say.
नहीं, वो वाले में ज्यादा मजा आएगा.
Okay.
Anyway, if you send, it won't be fun, but that way it will be fun.
sir,
Okay.
if we do, then
If we do, then शाबाशी मिलेगा.
Nice question.
we
Good
will,
question, Tanya.
sir, we will get a coffee.
No, it's not like that. See, for doing, you will get my appreciation. For not doing, I get a coffee. बहुत simple है. Okay, then good night for today.
Okay. Good night. Good night. Sorry,
And
sir.
we will meet again tomorrow.